Hello everyone, this is LE Diecast and we're back again for part 6 of our adventures through the 2012 Hot Wheels Mainline Series. And in this series I'm going to attempt to show you every one of the color variations, the exclusives, the at least acknowledged wheel variations that are in that series. It's about 15 to 18 cars somewhere in there, and hopefully you'll be able to use these if you're looking for to see if there's any different color variations of your favorite car. And they're in order according to the number, and the number is, if I can show you, it's right down there. So we're going by that. And in this video we're going to be starting with number 166. So we will get going, and that is the Dodge Viper GT-SR. And this particular car came in a blue, and you'll hear me, no, problem with my cataloging system right off the bat. This came in a blue and a white. I really like the white version. The blue is not my favorite. The white version was the harder of these to find, but I don't remember it being an exclusive. And again, the exclusives are hard to remember which was which. Next up is the... Oh, bumped my camera. That was great. There we go. The next one up is the Super Modified, number 147. Next up is the 8 crate. This one only came in one color, the Super Modified. The 8 crate comes with a bit of a story. So first we'll cover the 8 crate. The 8 crate came in a yellow, which was not particularly hard to find. This is one of the Moon Eyes vehicles. Moon Eyes is one of the companies that Hot Wheels usually finds someplace in each line to put the brand. A lot of people collect just the Moon Eye cars. It also came in a black, and the black, or the flat black, was the harder of these to find. I want to show you something. In the last video, let me get my other 8 crate here, and you'll see here are the two 8 crates. Nice cars. The 49 drag Mercs, which if I can get in here underneath all my gear, the 49 drag Mercs, there we go, also came in the same color variation, and I don't know if these two go together. Lately in 2013 they've kind of been doing a before and after series where they have color variations on two different cars, and I have no idea if these were ever meant to go together or not, but they sure look like they were supposed to go together. But in any case, I don't know. If anybody knows, you can tell me and leave a message down below. Next up is number 149, sorry, and that's the 86 Monte Carlo SS. Sorry, went blank there for a second. If you've seen my lighting rig video, you know I have a very tiny little spot to move around in here, so keeping track of the cars once I'm done with them is quite the logistics issue. This also came in an orange. I believe the orange was a little bit hard to find. Next up is the Hummer H2, number 150. This one only came in the orange. Okay, next up, this one's going to be a little confusing, and let's start with this one. The next one is 151, and that is this guy, the Volkswagen Beetle. And he's a pretty neat car to start with, but he had a few color variations going on. He was also, so first off, this was one of the super treasure hunts for this series of cars. It also, if you look right back here, see that little tailpipe right there? This one, the tailpipe is molded into that metal piece. In this one, you can see it's a little bit darker gray, and the tailpipe is a plastic piece that's kind of hard to see, but it's set underneath the engine. So a difference in the casting. Everything else was the same on the car. So that was one of the variations that came out. And then, on top of that, there was a purple, or a pink, magenta, variation of the same car. So there was a Super Treasure Hunt, a metal exhaust, a two-piece exhaust, and a magenta of this one. Super Treasure Hunts we'll try to cover in another video. This one is the twin mill. This is in red. Whoops. Twin mill also came in a blue. I don't think either of these were particularly hard to find. Fantasy cars usually aren't. If you've noticed, they tend to put out color variations of the sports cars, the muscle cars. Not usually with the fantasy cars. Not a lot of color variations on those. Probably because the kids tend to like the fantasy cars and they know the collectors like the muscle cars more. Next up is the Dodge Challenger Concept. This was the Kmart exclusive coloring, and it also came in a green. The green was the main series color. The gray silver was Kmart exclusive. You've heard me in the other videos talk about it, but many of the stores will put out exclusives. Those tend to be the harder to find. Kmart, Walmart being the two big ones there. Next up is number 154, and that is the Custom 62 Chevy. That one only came in one color variation. Next up is 155. That is the Volkswagen Brasilia. This one came in a red, the harder to find of the two, and a green, which I think you can still find on the shelves. And it just so happens I've got one of my green ones over here. We'll roll him by a few times, but he just happens to be one of my test lighting vehicles. So the green one you can get nearly everywhere of this car. So the green. Next up is the 156, and that is the GMC motorhome. Big old car. It's not particularly heavy. It's got a plastic bottom, has a metal top. Next up is the 157. My case there, stand keeps scooting back. That's the Nissan 350Z. This came in one color, this gray with the flames. One of my son's favorite car. He loves the flames. Honda Civic S1 is the next one at 160. This guy came in just that variation, except I think we skipped a few. Yep. Sorry, wait a second. Ignore that. Next up is number 158. Sorry about that. Had them out of order. There's about 3 cars here with flames on the side that look the same. This one also came in a purple. Purple being the harder of the two to find. Make sure these go back there in order. Next up, 159. That was the Pontiac GTO. These are part of the Heat Fleet sub-series of cars. That's why they all have flames on them. And next up was the one we saw. That is the Honda Civic with the flames on the side. All the Heat Fleet cars. Next up we go into the Main Street series of cars, the sub-series, and that's 161, which is the Dodge Charger RT. I went silent there because I was thinking there was something else I wanted to say about this. I think this was one of the super treasure hunts for this series. I don't have those in front of me, but I think it was. Number 162 is the 71 Corvette Grand Sport. The Corvette came in a lovely red and a white. The red was the harder of the two to find. Here's the white. And it came in a very hard to find yellow, and I believe this was a Walmart exclusive. Now that I say that, maybe it was a Kmart exclusive. I think it was a Walmart exclusive. There we go. Yellow was by far the hardest one to find. 163 Chevy Camaro RS, 1970. That one just came in a white. For some reason, all these fire cars are confusing me all of a sudden. I was thinking this one came in a different color too, but I don't have it here in front of me. So I'm going with just a white. Again, leave a comment down below if you know that guy came in a different color, but I think he just came in white. Next is 164. That's the big pickup, the Chevy Silverado. Only came in white. Also, police department cars. Number 165, this is 69 Pontiac GTO Judge. If you see a theme here with the police, most of the Hot Wheels lines contain some sort of police fire vehicle line. That Hot Wheels does is a tribute to those departments. In this series they happen to be kind of all in a row, and they did kind of a series of colors with them. So there was white and red. They also tend to pick a police department to honor for each of these, and I don't think, I'm looking real close, does that say? I can't read what that is because my eyes aren't that good. Anyways, I'll zoom in and you'll see that there is a department there that'll be about a foot big on my TV, so I'll be able to read it then. Next up is the 65 Corvette. Again, another police vehicle. This one I can read. This one is from, oh, now that I said that, Monroeville. Next up, we'll speed along here a little bit, is 167, which is the 2010 Ford Mustang GT. This one came in a blue and a black, and the blue and the black look about the same on the shelf. I had trouble knowing there was two of these until I started paying attention. I have the black on a short card, and you can usually tell the cars I had a harder time finding when you see the short cards. It means I picked them up at Toys R Us late in the game. 168 was a Mercury Cougar Eliminator. This one is the red. This was the more common of the two. And then there was a hard to find green version, and I believe this was a Kmart exclusive. And it looks yellow. My camera has problems with bright greens and yellows, but it's actually a lime green. Very bright lime green. Next up is the Amazoom. This one was in the 2013 line too, I believe. No, I have that wrong. It's in the 2011 line. This was the yellow, which was the harder to find, and the very, very common red version, which I think you could still get on the shelves if you want at your local Walmart. Next up, 170, and that is the Lincoln Continental. For some reason, I must have thought this car was going to be really collectible, because I have a bunch of these, and I don't know why I have a bunch of these. It came in this blue coloring. It also came in a black, and I've been told the black is the harder to find, but the truth is I had a much harder time finding the blue, so maybe I had heard or read wrong or remember wrong. Again, I have a bunch of both of those colors, so if anybody's interested, tell me. 171 is the 68 Nova. This is part of the popular HW Racing series, and these cars are collector favorites. They have the Hot Wheels logo. Tends to be a lot of color variations of these. They'll tend to come in black, white, and blue, and there tends to be a lot of these cars that will look similar. And I find collecting these gets pretty tricky. It comes in a black. You can see the black and the blue look similar on the shelf. The black version of this, I think, was the easier of the two to find. We're going to wrap this video up in a few more cars. Next up is the 70 Chevelle SS. This also came out in the 2011 line, if I remember right. That is the black version. This was the harder of these two to find. There was a blue version as well. Some of these might have been exclusives. Again, when it comes to the HW Racing Series, I kind of always lose track. And next up is the number 173. Oh, by the way, there was... did I get that right? Let me check something. No, sorry. Okay, next up, if I get it centered, is number 173. That's the Pontiac GTO. That's the one we're going to end this video on, and it came in a black as well. So that's going to wrap up part 6 of this series. You can watch the others at my YouTube channel, and that's at Mr. LE Diecast on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, where most of the action's happening, and that's at LE Diecast on Facebook. And we have lots of things going on there, trades and discussions and talking about our favorite cars and so forth. So again, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in part 7 of this video, and I will see you there.